Welcome everybody to the Upper Area School Board meeting on Monday, January 12th, 2026. First agenda item is I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, this meeting order is usually called the item boardroom, 1887 goals. Roll call, please.
All right, Mr. Andre is excused. Eric Gordon?
Here.
Mrs. Ingersoll is excused. Mrs. Costock?
Here.
Mrs. Reckles?
Here.
Mr. Scarrow?
Here.
Mrs. Vaughn?
Here.
Mr. Grieving?
Here.
Ms. Krakowski?
Here.
This meeting has been properly noticed. I don't have anybody for community participation, so we're on to options charter school student presentation.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. Our student spotlight, we'll get to our students shortly. You'll see them in here. But what we want to talk to you today about is something that makes our student population a little unique compared to other virtual settings. And that is that we have dual programming offerings. It's not common in a lot of the virtual schools in the state of Wisconsin to have this type of programming. And so with the support of this board and Mr. Tadlock, we're thankful that we can have this as part of our identity and what we do. 273 college credits were completed just this fall semester for option students. We had students at 8 college and universities in the fall. 4% increase in students taking dual credit courses this fall to spring. So we're continuing to add on to our total. And then 44% of our options juniors and seniors are currently enrolled in a college course. We say that total a lot. We're pretty proud of it, that we're providing access and opportunity for that large of percentage of a school to be receiving college credit. You see the map here, so you can see where our students are typically coming from. There are main regions where you see the red pins. And then we have there kind of clumped some of what are common areas our students are taking courses in. So graphic design and business, often tied with organizational leadership, accounting, elementary and middle education. I get excited about that. Not everybody, if you have pools of teachers, you've got a lot of people that want elementary, a lot of people that want high school, and then there's the middle people. So it's 2 people that came from the middle and Kristen who came from the middle world. We get really like jazzed about that. School of psychology, a lot of students we find in our setting are going for health sciences, everything from sonography to EMT, nursing, CNA and pre-medicine, but that's a rather large passion for our students. Culinary arts, fire science and criminal justice, welding and advanced manufacturing is another large one for us, is that advanced manufacturing. And then engineering, astrophysics, and then general science. We think of those are the students going for their gen eds, knowing I'm 4-year bound, and instead of focusing in on a certain area now, I really just want to get my gen eds out of the way. So we have that group as well.
Yeah, so now my name is Becca Cooney-Como. I'm the dual programming specialist at Options. So I'm just going to spotlight some of our students, 4 of them to be exact tonight, even though there's way more that we could spotlight, but I don't want to take up too much time. So the first one is Constance. She is a senior at Options. She started with us the second half of her sophomore year and has been attending UW Whitewater dual programming classes ever since coming to us. Her focus is high school education, and she hopes to become a high school teacher in the field of psychology. By the time Constance graduates, she will have earned 46 college credits. So very close to an associate's degree, saving her a ton of money and a ton of time. But she is an extremely motivated young woman. So she has wanted to take as many college classes as she could while being at Options, while also working. So that is a picture of Constance at the UW Whitewater campus. She does prefer to take her classes in person, so she's on campus, I think 4 days a week. The second one is Solomon, another senior of ours. He actually came to options brand new this year because of the dual programming that we do. And he had an interest in either EMT or becoming a firefighter. So when I met with him, we decided that he was going to pursue the fire science technical diploma. So he's doing that at Gateway this year, and by the end of the year, he will be one class short of the technical diploma, only because he doesn't turn 18 until June, and students need to have a CDL by like February to take one course. So he wants to become a paramedic, and he will have earned 21 credits at Gateway. He takes classes at the Hero Center in Burlington, but he also gets to take classes at the Kansasville Fire Department. So that's where that photo of him was taken. He takes classes that are full day long courses where he's working with firefighters from the Kansasville Fire Department. I got to go there one day and take photos of him, and it was super cool to see they get to do all these activities, play with live fire, which was very scary for me, but what they want to do, and just learn from actual firefighters, which was super cool. All right, I screwed up my numbering. Addie is number 3. She is our only junior of the student spotlight, but I thought she was a really cool student to kind of emphasize because she is one of the students that is a part of our Rising Phoenix program this year. So the Rising Phoenix program, I think Jess has talked to the school board about it before. It's a partnership with UW Green Bay where students get to have the opportunity to earn their high school diploma and their Associate of Arts and Sciences by the time they graduate high school. So Addie came to us because she wanted to participate in the Rising Phoenix program from homeschool. So she is a junior. She is taking classes at the Manitowoc campus because she is actually able to take some in-person classes based on where she lives. Very business-minded. She wants to go for organizational leadership. And Addie has actually gotten involved at Green Bay as well. I know this fall she got a service credit because she helped out at their Future Phoenix Day, helping direct and guide middle schoolers that were on a campus visit. So she will have earned by the end of this year, so her first year taking college classes, 30 credits, which is really amazing. And I don't think it's something that she would have been able to do without the Rising Phoenix program. And then our last one that I'll highlight is Kaylee. Kaylee also comes from the Green Bay area, but she is attending Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. She has been at Options pre me, so before I was even at Options, and she is just so delightful. She wants to go for nursing, so she's been taking classes so that she can transfer from Northeast Wisconsin Technical College to UW Milwaukee next year. And by the time that she is done with her classes this year, since she's a senior, she will have earned 57 college credits. And she wants to become a nurse. And if you have her as your nurse one day, you will be very lucky because she is super sweet, super hardworking, amazing. And she is also a student that works as well as Aggie. So we just have so many amazing students at our school that are doing really great things. And it's very cool to get to see them pursue their interests while being high school students.
So part of this impact that we're seeing on our students is the finances, and you'll see Constance talk about that in a second. That a lot of our students are coming to us for a couple of reasons specifically. One is there is a competitor area that has the school board has said that we're not willing to support dual programming anymore, and so those families are seeking out other area institutions that believe in the purpose and understand the vision of that programming. And so we were lucky enough to receive some of those students, but also students, as you can see, that are working, that they understand there's a financial component or burden being placed on their family, and they wanted to find a way where college was accessible to them or extra training was accessible to them. without being worried about burdening their family anymore. And so they're willing to put in the extra work and effort now in high school. The timing of our ability to be flexible when Kristen and Becca work with their students to create their schedule, because we're able to be flexible, asynchronous in a way, students are able to focus on their college programming and have a job and still helping support their family. And skills, we're noticing, I'll talk about Kaylee. She's getting the education of a nurse. But what I like to see is, I want my nurse to be reliable, kind, hardworking, and we get to see, because of this early access, those skills are a little more advanced than I believe a lot of students starting their education later. Our student at the Kansasville Fire Department, I was at the Hero Center one day for another meeting. I popped over to the Hero Center just to be a spy. And they had EMT people teaching the students how to knock on the door and what to say when you first are with someone in a crisis. And they're having to practice in front of 30 other students and people right in the force. And I think it's oftentimes they think about you're getting your credits, but it's those other skills too that they're getting a kickstart on that I think are growing them as human beings. If that makes sense. All right, this video is compiled by me, who has never used iMovie before, okay? So I tell you that because we've had marketing and footage that we're working on getting into our movie theaters, and that's coming out very soon. But I wanted to shrink it a little bit for you so we could get snippets of students. Because they're across the state of Wisconsin, it's hard for them to come in person to see you. So we interviewed students to kind of talk about some of these programmings that Becca has shared with you today. So the production's terrible, but I promise the stories are amazing. We have students that have taken advantage of our dual programming opportunities. This is an opportunity where students can take college credits in high school and earn dual credit. Some of our students have taken advantage of that and been able to get into their programs early their freshman year, saving time and money. I have a student currently who's already admitted into their astronomical engineering course at a major university in the United States because they were given that kickstart year at options, that opportunity to explore those courses now. Our rigorous program, coupled with our supportive learning environment, gives kids a head start, making their future accessible now.
I have a student who graduated last year, and he started at options the summer going into his junior year. So he essentially had 2 years at options to make the most of it. And he ended up completing over 60 college credits in 2 years at options, and then ended up going to a pretty prestigious university to major in something that I don't know. I think it's astrophysics or something like that. We have a student that is attending Blackhawk Technical College, and by the end of this year, he will not only graduate with a high school diploma, but also an associate's degree in culinary arts. We have, I believe it's 6 students that are participating in the Rising Phoenix program through Green Bay. We have a partnership with them, so our students, the goal is that starting junior year and going through senior year, they take classes through Green Bay. They're all online, and they will also graduate high school with an associate of arts and sciences. There's not a ton of schools that participate in it, and we are the only Christian school. It's a great program. It creates like a lot of time for like yourself, and I think it's great if you are serious about school, and it opens up a lot of doors and like opportunities that if you weren't with school, like it'd be really hard to do. So I know like everybody gets to a lot of opportunities that way, and I think like it like being a self-paced usage, then I think like that also is really so I was like in shock at first because I like did it because like think this is like an option. didn't know like it was, you could like go like totally online and like when it, you can like still get all like your requirements to like graduate, play in college and not like basically goal. So it's just like a great like way for that, but I think it definitely is like a great way for like athletes. Just cause like you're not doing nothing, like you still like have like the practice times that you need to get at and like that like training between. So it's really nice with the flexibility. But our so this is Mia. She is a junior at Options and she lives for volleyball. So she is a student athlete. She plays for the Milwaukee Sting. So she travels with them. So it's really important that she can do her schoolwork when she's able to. And then she also played this fall on the Elkhorn team. And she is also taking classes at Gateway. So she takes her classes completely online just because she is very serious about volleyball and she definitely wants to play at the collegiate level. A lot of options like too, like when they're offering a lot of study sessions and like virtual meetings with the teachers. So like if you are really struggling in class, like you just meet right there and then for like any question you need. So it's really that.
That they have a student success coordinator. That person is dedicated 100% to support students and helping them with their academic journey. Meeting with students, helping them pick up classes that they would want to take for dual credit, both earning high school and college credit at the same time.
I'm able to juggle with these responsibilities because of the support I receive from Options and from the counselors and the support staff there have helped me like be able to navigate college, high school, sports, and everything else.
I'll always be grateful for this chance to earn my degree early.
Athletes' arts or work experience.
My day looks like work in the morning, and then usually I go and like ride my horses, and then it's normally I come home and I do stuff.
It's in the name, it's just options to get whatever done and it's flexible for their schedules.
Like they offer a lot of like study sessions and virtual like meetings with the teacher. So like if you are like struggling in a class, like you can just meet right there and then for like any question you need. We have kids at so many different colleges and universities across the state. There is someone in fire science right now, graphic design, someone who wants to become a pilot. You know, it's really cool to see all the different interests and kids actually moving towards those goals.
I love seeing those individual experiences where the students can still go off and accomplish their dreams, yet complete their high school education.
The families that come to Options end up loving it.
And that's what we got for you today.
Awesome, a great job.
Thanks.
It's fantastic.
Any questions for them?
Just one for me. How much follow-up do you get from your graduates? Like, they go off to college, do some of them switch gears once they leave Options? And what kind of data are you getting back?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you asked that. Just last week, we received phone calls from two students who asked for their transcripts because they're going back to school. So pretty cool. I have Juliet Lena, our English teacher. She's been, I think, pretty close to the start of Options, and she came to me over the summer and she said, we're 10 years old, we need to grow our legacy input and output more. And so her goal this year is she's reached out to alumni to start creating a network, get their stories and get that feedback.
Good idea.
When it comes from students that Becca has worked with, we're seeing great success in continuing. When you look at the dropout rate for a 4-year student, their freshman year, it's pretty high in the nation right now. Students who have gotten this jump start, it's like the opposite. We're seeing them being able to stick because some of those skills, independence, scheduling, self-advocacy that they're missing, they've been able to grow with support along the way. But then that other piece of that question really is, how are we connecting with students that have graduated 5, 8, 10 years ago? And so we're working on creating that network now. Learning, we have a ballet person in Canada that's at a university in the lead to someone in Germany that took the asynchronous learning into their adult life, and they're traveling the world while working in a remote world because they loved it so much. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I think when we started options, one of our concerns was we believed that it wouldn't be limiting to students and being able to go to whatever college or university, but I think we've seen that reaffirmed where you have alumni that have been accepted to a very prestigious finance program at Berkeley,
University of
last year,
Chicago,
University of
GTR.
Chicago, yeah.
Wow.
So they have students getting into high level institutions. And you didn't share, who was the highest state report card among all virtual schools this year? Was that options?
Yeah.
Okay,
And by
by how
far.
many points?
It's about 18 percentage points.
That's it. Yeah, just a little bit. All right, good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is electronics. We have any potential students move forward.
All right, we should have a Chris and Kevin online. Are Chris and Kevin there?
Yes, we are. Can you hear us?
Excellent, we can hear you. Let me see if I can they can see you. There we go. All right. I'll pull the presentation up. I'll give a little bit of background to the board to set the stage. So a couple of years ago, we started a journey to really, it started off looking at our audio over at the high school field, because if you've been there for graduation, you see it's a struggle for us to get a good audio sound. The speaker system doesn't work well. So we started getting quotes on the audio system, and we had a little bit of a sticker shock from the lowest end around 120,000 to $250,000 to address the audio. Working with the youth football and then traveling around to different locations, I noticed that Whitnall at their field, and their field was built around the same time ours was, and they had the exact same speakers above their press box, but they don't use them anymore. They had gotten a video board, and all of their audio came out of that video board. It was some of the best audio that I've heard in a stadium. And so we kind of pivoted. I started at the same time, the high school, and the scoreboard over there is getting outdated and is a little glitchy, and our high school coach had been asking about, upgrading and looking at different scoreboard options and solutions. And so we started to explore different possibilities, and in particular, one that has the audio embedded in it, such as Whitnall's. And Daktronics has worked with a lot of districts in the area. And then also knowing that from a finance side, we're not in a position to go and outlay just a bunch of money from our operational budget into that. And so I think what Daktronics will cover as well is they work with school districts, and they have a structure with the video board in which community businesses or entities sponsor and basically will contract to for a certain dollar amount on an annual basis. And typically is what we'll look at, they target a 5-year ROI. So the contracts for the advertising on the video boards cover the cost of the hardware. And then they typically have a lifespan rate around 10 years. So then after the 5 years, you're just generating revenue in those areas. So that's the solution. I think Daktronics had the best one that we had seen. We looked at another company as well. And so with that, I asked them to come and present what that would look like, or, the potential solution for us. So, all right.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jason. Yeah, you did a great job just kind of laying out what we have talked about the last couple of months, starting kind of at the end of summer here. So I'm Kevin Zamlewski. I'm the local equipment rep for Daktronics. I'm based out of downtown Milwaukee, and then I have Chris Popowski on here with me as well. Chris is more on the sponsorship and advertising side of this project, where I deal with design and the equipment and how it functions and all that fun stuff. So I'm just going to run through maybe the design that we had settled on with Jason and his team, and the athletic team as well at Elkhorn. We went through a couple of different designs that we've seen across the country, and this is what we had kind of settled on. It really hits all of the needs that I think is required out there at the stadium for a potential upgrade. So like Jason had said, this first design here is the larger of the two designs. Essentially, they look the same, but this first one here is just a little bit larger. So, in terms of overall height and width, this display is going to be 32 and some change feet wide. It's actually going to be a very similar look to what McWanago High School just did. They installed this last August, but this design, it does have that sound system on the very top left corner there. So that black box with the logo there is actually an all-in-one sound system. So there won't be any speakers mounted around the stadium on any light fixtures, on any press boxes, things like that. We call it our sole source audio system there. With that, we have some backlit channel letters to the right there, so that Elkhorn will actually light up at night. When the sun goes down, you'll be able to see that clear as day. And then we do have a fixed digit scoreboard on there as well, as what we call it is it's an analog scoreboard. So even if that big video display in the middle right there is not running, you can still utilize the clock and the score and all of the information on the scoreboard without having that big video display turned on. And then that video display itself there, I think we have it's just over 18 feet tall by 32 foot wide. Really anything that you want a video display to do, this can do. So live replays and highlight videos and graphics, advertisements is going to be huge, I know, for this project. Yeah, really anything that you want to throw up on a video display that will be able to do. And then at the bottom there, we have an actual fixed advertising panel for any sponsors that want their logo fixed up on that scoreboard there. So that's the gist of it. That's the larger of the two. The next step down is actually going to be 25 feet wide, so that will be the same exact size that Whitnall has, like Jason mentioned, with that sound system up in the top left corner there as well. All of the same features of the first one. However, this one is just going to be slightly smaller to reduce cost on the equipment and on the installation. That's kind of all I have for design, but any questions on that right off the bat?
I don't think so. Do you want to speak to the indoor piece? Yeah.
Sure. Yep, I can do that. This is our indoor video display that we may add in the field house as well. What's really nice about this project is that Elkhorn at the field house already has Daktronics scoreboards. So adding in this video display piece would be a lot less dollars wise than if you were to re-outfit the entire gym with new scoreboards as well. So we were just exploring adding in the video display component in the field house for extra eyes for those sponsors. You know, any company that were to hop on board and maybe give some money for sponsorship, they wouldn't just be getting seen out at the stadium, but now moving this inside the gymnasium as well will get some more exposure for those anchor partners. But this equipment here is very standard size. We've got multiple of these displays around the Milwaukee area. I know Arrowhead has got one like this. Franklin had just put one in not too long ago as well. So it's about a 7 by 15 video display, and it would just go on the opposite side of that hoop like you see here of that fixed digit scoreboard as well.
The team felt that there's so many more indoor events and so many more eyes on it that would be more appealing to the potential sponsors to have both rather than just the outdoor board. Although, you know, with soccer and lacrosse, and we do have a number of events, but there's just with the winter sports, there's a lot more indoors.
Yep, exactly. Chris, this is maybe more your world a little bit as well, if you want to touch on some of this other signage around campus.
Yeah, just to note, as you see with some of the designs, we've incorporated what we call anchor level sponsors. Those would be our top level sponsors. Again, we would work with Jason and his team to develop what these sponsorships could look like. And part of that package is typically some fixed signage. So those same 6 anchor partners that would be represented below the stadium scoreboard would also be in the gym, and then potentially also on some signage like we see here above the concession windows. So again, part of the plan is to sell sponsorships and have that fund the display. As Kevin moves to the next slide, many of the video boards and scoreboards you see around the state of Wisconsin have used our sports marketing service. That is essentially a free service where we would prep the Elkhorn team with the presentations, with the sponsorship knowledge and packages that we've hopefully have done a good job with throughout the state. But those tools would be used to go out and solicit sponsors. And like Jason said, the idea would get those contracts in place first to know that the funding is in place before we would expect any order from Elkhorn. So whether we're at McWanago or Watertown or Hudson or Wanakee, all of them incorporated sponsorships in our sports marketing program to fund those displays. So whether it's outdoor or indoor, Daktronics has had a lot of success in the state of Wisconsin that we're very proud of. Obviously have some great references for anyone that has any questions on how we operate. So I do feel whether it's your bigger communities or smaller communities, there is a want and maybe even a need for businesses to be involved and want to be involved. So I'm excited about the opportunity to give this our best shot to see if we can fundraise to make this project happen. So for the sake of conversation today, we did put together some numbers for these two options. Both of these options include both the indoor and outdoor stadium scoreboards and video boards, as well as the sound system on top of the board that you saw in the stadium. We've also included shot clocks and play clocks. And although shot clocks are not mandated yet in Wisconsin, I know it's a thing that might be coming. And the thought here is if we can fundraise for it, maybe there's an opportunity to get that paid for as well through these sponsorships. So as Jason mentioned too, typically this is set up over a 5-year payoff period. And our goal would be to secure those sponsor agreements for typically that 5-year deal to know that the cost is paid for before we would move forward. In both of these scenarios, as you see here, we have 3 different tiers of sponsors. So as I mentioned, we talked about our 6 anchor partners. There's also potential for other tier levels, which we call founding and premier. In scenario 1, if you scoot over to the left, Kevin, we're looking at roughly $500,000 all in with the equipment and installation. The one thing we don't have accounted for in our scope is the electrical work. Typically the school or someone in the community is involved with that electrical piece. Happy to provide and work with them on any requirements or questions they might have. But I do want to note in our scope, we do not have that. But our intention is to hopefully secure upwards of 20 different partnerships between those 3 levels, the potential to generate $98,000 annually over the next 5 years, versus if we were to take that $491 and divide that by 5, looking at that 5-year annual payoff of about $98,368. So we're not quite there to our threshold. One thought is we could pursue 6-year agreements or even charge a little bit more to make that threshold achievable. So that's what it looks like in option 1. As Jason mentioned too, a lot of schools have looked at this as a platform to consolidate some of the fundraising that's happening in their community. So the goal would be to not only pay for this equipment, but ideally, if we're doing everything right and fulfilling these sponsorship agreements, the idea to go back to them in year 5 or year 6, renew those sponsors and be generating substantial revenue from this platform. So option 2, obviously the numbers are a little bit higher, a bigger video display for that stadium. The numbers do jump up quite a bit, right around 622,000 all in for the equipment and installation. Again, we don't have any electrical work in our scope at the moment. In this scenario, we're looking at approximately 22 sponsors throughout these 3 different tier levels, generating $110,000 annually. And again, for the sake of consistency, I left it at 5 years in terms of this payoff. We are coming up a little bit short, years 1 through 5. But again, the option of maybe charging a little bit more or potentially looking at a 6-year payoff to make sure we have that accounted for and funded. So that is a very high-level view of how this could look. Daktronics does offer lease options. We've seen other schools work with their local bank on a low-interest lease or a loan. So those are some other options that I know we can discuss. But again, the goal would be to put together the sponsorship plan, the presentation, go out and have these conversations with the community, get those agreements in place first before we would expect any order from the district. Any questions? I'll stop here before I go to the next slide.
I was just wondering, so the sound just comes strictly from the board and not from any other speakers?
Correct. Yeah. So on that design there, Jason, that black box in the top left of the structure is that sole source audio system. And Daktronics has been doing audio systems like this for, I don't know what, Chris, the last 10 years at least. And we've got a lot of great examples around the Milwaukee area in the suburbs that have this sound system. So I'm happy to set up like a site visit with any number of schools that have this same system. If we want to take a peek and listen to what that sounds like, I'm happy to do that.
And I've had the privilege to be to a number of places that have it. What I really like with it coming from that one source, and it's not comfortable if you're sitting right under that sign, but that's why it's positioned in a place which isn't typically with seating there. But you eliminate the echo and the complexity of the other sound systems where they're having to get out and fine tune them so that speakers are going off at different times and so forth. And so it's a much simpler approach, and I was impressed with the quality of the sound that came through.
So it'll just be one scoreboard in the gym.
The video board, yeah.
Yeah, one video board in the gym, so the sound's just coming from one source.
Oh, there's no sound on the board in the gym. So the gym's still the gym sound.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is just the sound outdoors. Is that one source?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. I know Dustin's from McGuanago. How is the audio in McGuanago?
It's phenomenal.
And it's
Yeah,
one source like that?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
I just worked with these guys last year.
How is the video captured? I mean, I don't have any technical skill on this, so
That's
where
a
does
good
the,
question. We didn't cover that.
where does the video come from?
Yeah,
Yep.
so we would partner with our video club and our students, would actually create a course for students wanting to work on the video board and so forth, and they have a curriculum that goes along with that course, and so we would develop that course. The students would work with that like they do with the video club and make clips in advance and then play those during the game. There may also be the opportunity to do some filming from the game. I noticed you mentioned replays. I know our athletic director and principal really had a concern of putting replays up on the board during the game. I don't know
Yep.
how that works. And, they don't want like people contesting an official's call or something, but
Right. Yeah, we've seen schools do it a number of ways. I would say replay at the high school level is not very common. A lot of folks just don't have the resources to do that. Not saying that it can't be done. But most of what we see on the video displays is, like Jason said, pre-made content, pre-made hype videos, pre-made commercials for these sponsors, things like that, that students are doing in the classroom, throughout the week leading up to maybe a Friday night football game. And then Friday afternoon, they go out to the press box, upload, everything that they've created, and then they play it at game time. So, yeah, Jason, you're spot on there.
and I haven't spoken to Vince yet, but Vince DeLupo is one of our tutors here at the district office who works with students. His other full-time job is he runs the video board for the Milwaukee Bucks and the Milwaukee Brewers. So I think, if we go this route, developing a course, and, I would like to explore if that's something that he could work into his schedule and working with students as well on at least the instructional aspect, but.
Sure. And one thing just to note off of that, Jason, is this software that would come with this video board and this scoreboard is the same exact software that they use at Pfizer Forum for the Milwaukee Bucks and for Marquette on game day. So that's what's really nice about the curriculum is students can start to learn this at the high school level. And if it's something that they really have a passion for and an interest in, we can actually hook them up with colleges and universities that use our software at the next level and essentially, get them a foot in the door with an internship or a job, maybe right out of the gate that first semester at college. So it really is nice to get a start at the high school level with something like this. And yeah, you can ride that wave all the way up to the pros, which is really cool to see.
Any ballpark on a cost of electric? I know you said it's not included, it's not something you provide. I mean, on average.
I'm not great at that. In all honesty, a lot of it comes from where lines might need to get bored to and from. So if there's a breaker that's close to where this structure is going to go, it's going to be a lot less expensive than, say, if you were to have to bore underneath the track and lay power lines down that way. I'm not really great at giving an estimate on that. Chris, I don't know if you've ever seen a ballpark figure for something like that,
Yeah,
but
I would, depending on, who you're working with, I would probably budget around 20,000 would be a guesstimate, what we maybe heard or seen from other schools.
The location we did pick is because it is by a breaker there and the current electrical running. But yeah, I would say that's safe to.
Well, not only location, but if any upgrades are needed too, and so on, so.
So I had it down today just as a presentation and discussion. I can bring it back for approval at the next meeting. I just wanted any questions out there. I wanted time to ruminate on it, but when we were looking at it, the idea that one, I think they've demonstrated that there's businesses and all these other local communities that have been, they see that value in utilizing it for the advertising. And I think, after the equipment's paid for, that's also positive cash flow revenue for, the board could designate it for any area. I would recommend it going back into co-curricular budgets to fund the programming that, putting the eyes on it. But, that could be upwards of $100,000 a year in positive cash revenue once the equipment's paid off.
What kind of maintenance and upkeep is needed?
I would say very little in the first 7 years or so. Really, the important piece is keeping the control system safe. We recommend after about year 7 to maybe update some of that piece of the equipment, which is housed typically in the press box. And that just comes with a couple of media players and a rack that's about a, I don't know, 1.5 feet tall by 1 foot wide or so. But we recommend replacing that about 6, 7 years in, and then the laptop that comes with the operation as well. But really, any other upkeep is going to be out at the video board itself. What's nice about the display is it's all modular, so you think of essentially a 14 square inch square. If we have one module that were to burn out or go bad or get discolored, all you have to do is pop that one square out, and then we will send spares as well. Say the maintenance team at Elkhorn could just pop a new one into that place, and away you go. So you don't have to wait on us to ship you parts. You can just do that right then and there, since we do ship spares out. And then for warranty, we do a standard 5-year parts warranty right out of the gate, but we guarantee a minimum of 10 years of support on those parts. So that's a good question.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much, Chris and Kevin. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
For the
it.
opportunity. Have a good evening.
You too.
We're moving on to new course proposals for high school.
Hello there. All right, so if you recall, when Dan and I were here in October, we were talking about the goals presentation for the high school, and we talked about wanting to focus our academic and career planning work around increasing dual credit opportunities and also increasing industry recognized credential opportunities for students. So during the course of the beginning of the school year, we really sat down with all of our departments and we looked through the scope and sequence in all the departments. We're looking for opportunities to increase those for students. And we have a little bit of urgency because, of course, we start selecting courses at the high school in January. So I'm excited to report that we have 3 additional transcripted credits that we'll be adding for students to be able to select from. In math and in science, we have 5 additional industry recognized credentials
in autos and in business, and then one AP course, which is part of our course proposals tonight. And the additional course of the Top Flight Leadership class, which is also part of that work that we had done at the beginning of the school year. So the AP course is one that is not in the scope and sequence in the social studies department right now. The plan for AP European history is to run an opposite of when world history is being, AP world history is being run. This course goes from the Reformation all the way up through the Cold War. So it's a pretty comprehensive history class. Yeah, but another opportunity for students to be able to get dual credit. Questions?
You said it runs opposite AP World?
Yep, opposite of AP World, opposite of the years in which AP World will be offered. Set up just like AP US, set up just like AP World. Course isn't much different.
An interest level?
Yes, we have an
Okay.
interest level at those students who are interested in that career pathway underneath those social sciences. Yep.
Perfect.
And then you also have the Top Flight Leadership 2.
Yep. We also have the Top Flight Leadership 2. This is the second course that we'll have. It's actually basically a capstone course in our AG pathways and also in our business pathways. Students are paired up with a business partner, and the business partner proposes some sort of scenario or problem that they have, and then the students break up into teams and they work together to try to figure out a solution to that problem, and then propose that solution, and then that business partner will select the best option. So our kids actually, who did it for the first time this year, asked for an additional course because if they're juniors, they would like to do it as seniors as well. So we wanted to make sure that we had that opportunity for students. Maya, were you part of that? You want to talk about that at all? I thought I recognized you, yeah.
So, as I was a senior this year, and it was like a entirely new thing. I kind of didn't really know at all what it would be, but I actually really enjoyed it because we were able to work with Advocate Health. Like a real representative came from their organization and basically like presented a problem with us. And then we got randomly selected with other people in our class to basically take on this problem and try and come up with like a new prototype or organization system that might help solve it. At the beginning, we were kind of like, is this like fake or real? We didn't really know. But then it was actually cool because we got to have like these online meetings with Kevin Stagel, who was the representative from Advocate Health, and then have a meeting in this room as well with them in person and basically present like our entire prototype that we had spent like the last month and a half working on. And then once we were done with that, a lot of us kind of felt like this was really fun, but I kind of wish we had another one because we had this chunk of time kind of left. So then it went to other like leadership programming skills, but a lot of people definitely wish that there was like another opportunity that they could have had to work with another business or just another problem within the same business.
Nice.
Really cool. If you get a chance next year, come to that presentation. It was really neat to see what the kids thought of. Things I didn't even think of for some onboarding stuff that I might try with our teachers, by the way.
It's kind of like a Shark Tank where they're giving the pitch of their idea, their solution to the problem.
Kind of like a struggle trying to find out like we thought we came up with a great idea and then they're like, oh no, we've already tried that. And so then we just had to start from scratch again. And then the next week we present it to him and he'd say like, oh, well, this is good, but you still need to work on this. And so it was seriously just like an entire workshop of like, what can we actually do to make this idea reasonable for the company? And I think like that improved not only like real life skills, but also like our leadership skills and the way we like cooperated with each other. So I think it was a really like interesting class that I haven't really experienced in school with us.
It's real world opportunities. Yeah.
I noticed in the course description on both, it mentions honor points. What is that? Because the AP course has one and this top flight course doesn't.
Yep, so the honor points are connected to anything that has a dual credit option.
Oh,
And so the AP class does and the top flight class
Got it.
does not, because it's not a dual credit course.
And then the honor points get multiplied by their GPA to come up with their Lowry points. At the end of their school career.
Good question. Thanks. Any other questions?
There aren't any other questions, we need a motion to approve.
I move to approve the EAHS new course proposals as presented.
Second,
I'll second.
awesome, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Fair. Okay. Next item is the middle school overnight travel request to Boston and New York.
All right, I know the teachers sponsoring the trip, Mrs. Heritage and Mrs. Reese, could not be here, but I let them know I'd present. It's a trip that they've done several times. They wanted to get that on the calendar. It would not be for this summer, but for June 2027, that they get the information out there and start working with the students early on the fundraising and so forth for that trip. This is the outline of it. It is going to Boston and New York, using a motor coach. They do use a tour company for the trip, and there are the estimated costs for the trip in there. And it is done in the summer after school is out.
Okay. There are any comments or questions, we'll entertain a motion to approve the overnight travel request.
I move to approve the overnight travel request to Boston and New York as presented.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. On to the regular and closed session school board meeting. December 15th.
Does a motion have to be made twice?
No, we can do them all together.
Just looking at the attendance to see that.
Yeah, we can do them all together. Well, we'll do them separate, that way the students.
Okay, that's why I was asking.
No,
I move to approve the minutes of the December 15th, 2025 regular session school board meeting as presented.
second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, then for the closed session,
I move to approve the minutes of the December 15th, 2025 closed session school board meeting as presented.
second,
I'll second.
I'll do a roll call on this, please.
Okay. Mayor Gordon,
Yes.
Mrs. Costa,
Yeah.
Mrs. Reckles,
Yes.
Mr. Scarrow,
Yes.
Mrs. Vaughn,
Yes.
Mr. Grieving,
Abstain.
Ms. Krakowski.
All right. Moving on to general and other fund bills. Chris?
The business office for approval of the following: US Bank check numbers 155712 and 155716. BMO check numbers 161170 to 161301 and 161302 to 161377. Wire numbers 806 to 808 and 869 to 870. ACH numbers 441 to 471 and 472 to 491 for a total of $943,775.10. Some things to note, this is a really large run, because it's actually, two. We got, because of the distance and, school board meetings, we had to pay some bills twice in between there. And there is a big jump in between the wire numbers and what's not reported in these bills is, we keep payroll separate and that takes up a chunk of moving money too. So. Do you have any questions about anything?
The question I have is our snow removal.
Yep.
Do we pay per snow? Or do we pay a lump sum?
We pay per
Covered.
snow. And what I learned, because I asked why was it only 3 buildings, and right, the grounds crew removes the rest.
Okay,
Okay, and then the thing that I learned was they actually do it by how many inches of snow. That kind of
really?
Yeah, so there was
Really
one
different
on there for 4 inches and the other one, or the other for 9 inches. That was new to me as well.
So our first snow, we really got sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 9 inches, so they charge us more for that. And that makes sense, right? It's gonna take you more time. Yeah. So,
And I think they come. When it gets to 3/4 of an inch. I believe there's a minimum threshold and then they.
And they just remove snow, they don't do any salting or anything like that.
They'll handle that.
Okay.
I'm not certain if, I don't know,
I can't
I don't
speak to
think they do the salting, I think we handle the salt.
Other questions? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the general and other fund bills of January 12th, 2026. US bank check numbers 155712 to 155716. BMO check numbers 161170 to 161301 and 161302 to 161377. Wire numbers 806 to 808 and 869 to 870. And ACH numbers 441 to 471 and 472 491. In a combined amount of $943,775.10 as presented.
Thanks, Kathy. A second, please.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, on to the student representative report. Highlight of the evening.
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Okay, so back in December, we the week going into break, we had a holiday assembly. Not a lot of pictures from that, but the student council ran that, and we had like a dance and a skit and some jokes, and then at the end we handed out peppermints. Then also on the bottom there, same week, Mrs. Saunders and Mr. Wolf were spreading some holiday cheer by passing around coffee to some of the teachers. And to end that week, the choir and like chime assemble went to different schools around the district and sang some just cheery songs. And then this month they're gonna have some community auto nights with the Autos Club, and with a lot of registration coming up, they're gonna have like open house nights and a night for incoming freshmen and new students on January 19th.
And then over at the middle school, towards the end of the year as well, they took time to celebrate their first trimester honor roll recipients. And then along with that came some of the students of the month. And then furthermore, with the academics, some of the 6th grade students and actually some 5th graders from other elementary schools were actually able to go to UW Whitewater and compete in a math competition. There are multiple other schools as well. And then also upcoming this month, they're doing I believe it was like a puzzle competition. They're doing that as their palooza for the month.
So West Side enjoyed that first snow with a little snow day fun up there in their snow day outfits. And then at the end, last day of school, they had Santa on top of the building waving goodbye to the students going on a break. And then on the bottom right, not a lot of context here, but we think that is all the teachers and staff in a box taking photos together. That's like a lot of yeah. That's what I think that is. And then on the left, Casey's Pizza supplied free pizza coupons as an incentive for good behavior to students.
Okay, at Tibbetts, a couple of the students were able to use the VR that they have there and basically go through like a simulation of the North Pole. I believe that was definitely on the last week to kind of celebrate the holidays. And then also we can see how the staff members were really focusing on that by decorating their doors and their rooms and dressing up, obviously. And then also they had their annual holiday program, which was led by Miss Pile. And then this was also the same program where they were, had a raffle to raise money for the music programs. Then also at the elementary schools, they're starting Battle of the Books. So that's something I remember being one of my favorite parts of 4th and 5th grade. Basically, the students just get to read a bunch of books and then they basically compete for their knowledge.
Again, right before break, Santa came the last day to meet some of the students in the classrooms. They also enjoyed movies and just fun games and events. Jackson also got a new mascot. It looks like JJ the elk. And then on the bottom left, that's the choir and assembly going to Jackson from the high school just to sing.
And with options, along with all the dual credit opportunities that have been talked about earlier tonight, they're also providing a virtual open house to try and be more available for families and students. And so instead of having to meet at a certain day and place, you can log in online. And that allows for a lot of these incoming freshmen to just be more available and learn more about the school itself. And then also we can see how a lot of the staff have been really trying to connect with the students and interact with them more. And a way we saw that was with Miss Rimey playing, I think it was like a pin the nose game with the students during Christmas. Face got smashed.
At CCA, 2 days ago, they had a blood drive. I think that was with a couple other schools, maybe too. And then these students here are practicing their interviews for any job opportunities that they may come across in life.
And then I have these papers that I'm gonna pass around. Actually, if you could just pass them down, thank you. So Miss Braun, who's gonna be the NHS advisor taking over from Miss Brockman next year. Her and the NHS president this year are basically putting together a goods drive for the community, which I believe, even though we just brought it up last week, they already have $200 worth of stuff donated. And so previous this year, we've had other like food drives and toy drives, but this one is specifically focusing on like daily goods, like personal care products. I believe on the back, actually, if you turn it around, there's a list of things that people are looking for. And so essentially NHS is partnering with different organizations like the Twin Oaks Homeless Shelter or other churches who have taken in people just to see what people are really in need of and what we as a community can try and help put forward. And so while people have already started donating, February 15th through February 21st is where NHS is gonna really open up like the week of kindness, where this donation drive will really be trying to support individuals who are experiencing the homelessness or need. And so Ms. Braun asked me to bring it forth and just say if there's anything we here. And then obviously she wants everything to come to the high school so they can package it. And then the students in NHS themselves are actually going to be delivering these products, wrapping them up, making sure they're going where they need to go. And we're going to try our best to work with businesses and community as well. So yes, it says until February 12th this way. We're gonna try and have everything arranged by.
I assume everything new, correct? I'm talking about the garments. I assume everything else will be new, right? Garments, new, not used.
Hope so.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the students?
I have some of that.
All right. Next item out is personnel.
We have our personnel sheet here. We have the resignation of Michael Quist, who served as head custodian over at West Side. The appointment of Dustin Lehman, and Dustin came with his wife, so I think we give you the opportunity when you come forward, Dustin, introduce yourself and your better half, and Since you're here in person. No?
Everyone, Dustin Lehman, super excited to get started with Alcorn Area School District. The last 8 years I worked in a very similar role in Guanago, and I'm super excited to see from afar all the great innovative things that Alcorn does, and I'm excited to just kind of continue to build upon the success that you guys have had, and I'm really excited to get going here in a few weeks.
Welcome aboard.
So Dustin will be the new Director of Strategic Partnerships. So welcome and thank you for coming in person.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
We have the appointment of Laurie Lowitz. Malika Steinyard is a cleaner. Ryan Fay is a cleaner at the middle school, and then Richard Drake is a high school boys basketball assistant.
Right, looking for a motion to approve this recommendation.
I move to approve the personnel recommendation sheet of January 12th, 2026, including new employment, contracts conditioned upon passing a background check, and district mandated drug screening as presented.
A second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome. Great, acceptance of school gifts.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We won't ask you to come to every board.
But you're welcome to.
No, he's correct. You can be online. You can be online. They're out there. Nick was texting me. It's a 1/2 inch of snow. And if we move the electrical from the current scoreboard to the new one, then we shouldn't have to redo much of the electrical. But if we're gonna run a new line or keep the old one available. So yeah, the directors are out there. Let's cyberverse this and they're ready to answer questions.
Will we keep the old scoreboards?
I always like the idea of having redundancy, myself personally, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we look at the electrical and so forth. Is it worth that much? This video board, the scoreboard can work without the video board, so we don't have to. We can take it down. Let's see. Oh, yes, school gifts. We have one gift to present this evening. The Paul Davis Restoration has donated water and snacks for school guidance offices to support students in need, valued at $150 and $75 to support the Snack and a Pack program.
Motion to accept this generous gift.
I move to accept the generous school gifts as presented.
A second, please.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Okay, announcements.
Just a couple of announcements. The legislative committee is hosting a lunch with Senator Nassar, Representative August on January 23rd, beginning at 11:30 at the district office. Any board members, you're welcome to join. And then the Friends Awards are on January 26th, 6 o'clock at the high school auditorium. The school board meeting will be held back at the district office at 7 o'clock. So 6 o'clock at the high school auditorium next board meeting day, January 26th. Yeah, and then if you are attending the conference and you haven't let Jody know yet, the WASB conference next week, I guess already. Just let her know, she can get you registered, and if you're gonna be up, let me know if you're wanting to get together for lunch on any of those days up there.
Okay,
All right.
a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
First, I'll see you tomorrow morning at scholarship.
Why you promise to come?
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy.
Okay,
that.
John.
Yeah.
That's late.
Fine.
What is the welcome?
Is there? They should pass on it.